Hi, this is Dr. Mark Lackey with a presentation for Musicianship 1 at Towson University. So far we have talked about major scales and the three forms of minor scale that we find in the Western classical tradition or the Western common practice. First, in this presentation, we will do a quick review of the structure of major scales. And then it's interesting to notice that if we start with the same tonic, the same starting note, and build minor scales, that certain tones stay the same. It's interesting to notice these deep similarities, these deep relationships between all of the forms of scale, the different forms of minor scale and the major scale. So let's get started with a quick review of major scales. You're very familiar with the structure of the major scales, for example, starting on C3. If I go up whole step, half step, so here's C, up a whole step, up a whole step, up a half step. There's that tetrachord, and then if I go up another whole step, that gives me my fifth note, my fifth scale degree, and it is a perfect fifth above tonic. That note, the fifth scale degree, is very important. It's called the dominant. From there, we can begin again, whole step, half step, to complete the scale. So there's the structure of the major scale. What I want to point out today is that if we keep the same tonic, but build minor scales, if we build C minor scales, we keep several important notes. Of course, we keep the tonic, we also keep the dominant. Here's tonic again. If we go down a perfect fifth to F, we call that the subdominant. We will keep that note. So we keep tonic, dominant, subdominant. We also keep the supertonic. Using numbers, we keep, if we start on the same scale degree 1, then scale degree number 2, scale degree 4, and scale degree 5 will all be the same whether the scale is major or one of the forms of the minor scale. Of course, we don't have to start with C, we can do the same thing from D. There is our D major scale. We are going to keep scale degree 1. That means we will also keep scale degree 2, the supertonic, scale degree 4, the subdominant, and scale degree 5, the dominant. To make this scale minor, the one thing I know I must do is chromatically lower the third scale degree, or the mediant, by a half step. Notice the marker on this note. This third scale degree, F sharp, will be chromatically lowered. It will become F natural. All of the minor scales have this in common. The sixth and seventh scale degrees may or may not be lowered depending on the form of the minor scale. And that's why we have these different forms. Those scale degrees are flexible. So there's a quick review of the structure of the major scale. Now as we move to the minor scales, remember, we are going to be looking at minor scales that have the same tonic. We could call them parallel minor scales. We will start with the natural minor scale structure. If we start with the same tonic, in this case C, to make the natural minor scale, scale degrees 3, 6, and 7 will all be lowered chromatically. E has become E flat. The A in our major scale has become A flat. And the B, which was the leading tone, has become B flat. It is now a whole step below tonic, and it does not serve as a leading tone. It doesn't have that tension that we find with the half step pulling up to tonic. The B flat, the lowered seventh scale degree, we have a different name for. It is called the subtonic. So in the natural minor scale, we lower the third, the sixth, and the seventh scale degrees. We can do the same thing starting on D. Remember, D major was D, E, F sharp. Now we have D, E, F, G, A. B has become B flat.